Hey guys, Nugi here. Today I'm gonna discuss a rather interesting subject, if I would say so myself, and it's about DPS. So I've seen a lot of streams and I've seen a lot of players, and they ask me what kind of DPS should I have, and they showcase how much tooltip they have, they showcase how much effective DPS they have, and it's so hard for people to really distinguish and to really understand what all this means. So I'm going to try and clarify a few things here with the perspective of my demon hunter. So on my tooltip I have 650,000 DPS. This is a gathering of a lot of numbers based on your weapon damage, your attack speed, your crit damage, your crit chance, your dexterity. For instance, fire damage right here does not equate into this. You can see here I have a helmet with resource reduction after not getting hit, and here fire damage skills are reduced by 28. So this does not go into the tooltip. But why does that matter? It matters because tooltip DPS is a very poor reflection of how well your character actually is doing. For instance, look here. I am now going to expend my hatred with only cluster arrow. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, not enough hatred. Almost 9 before I deplete it. Normally it has 40 cost. 9 times 40 is 360. I have 150. Then you might go, wait a minute, how do you shoot this many? And the thing is, it's very important because cluster arrow with loaded for bear does significantly more than bolas. So if I have to weave a few of these into every single time I cast, all of a sudden I lose out on a lot of DPS. So when people write effective DPS and you see them running out of their main resource all the time and they have to swap, their effective DPS effectively goes down. But they don't equate that into what they're showcasing in what they're telling you. The same thing about, oh, I have like 1,000,000 DPS, I'm so good. But if you don't have any fire damage, for instance, if I was to equate fire damage into my build right now, I would have 1.05 million damage, like 1,050,000 damage, if I had all the fire damage here, because I only use fire skills. So these are directly affected by the fire damage. That's important to know as well. Then I have then there's like the use and like the in practice things. Bolas, Imminent Doom, you might think, oh, but that's so slow and it never hits. But that's why I have this quiver, for instance. This makes my boulder instantly explode. So I get the instant damage and therefore I get all the effect, and then it becomes pretty good. Because normally you end up where you kill off a lot of monsters before the boulder even goes off. Again, lowering the DPS. You see this in all specs. People spec into different elementals. They have different ways of treating resources. I really think that resources is one of the most, it's one of the least considered factors in real DPS. It does not reflect on any number anywhere, but it shows with the amount of times you can cast a certain spell, and that's really, really important. If you cannot cast the most efficient thing you have, you do way less. This is also why, for instance, some of these talents might inflate your DPS in ways that you don't want. Blood Vengeance, nobody would think, well, that's an increase in DPS, but it is. Every time you take this bubble, boom, you get more. You get 30. That's like 1.5 bola or 1.5 cluster arrow for me, because I have so much reduction. For me, what I have to be careful about with this build is getting hit. If I can avoid getting hit, I might actually, I do more damage because it costs less resources on me. This is also why when I solo I use the bear. I can taunt with the bear, and the bear is good for tanking in general. Also the Templar goes in stuns, so I can run around a lot of the time. Also my tumble costs very little. Like I only had 39, and you see there was a lot of tumbles because of all this resource reduction. This is also why, well, there's so many things here to consider. Resource cost reduction is amazing if you have Paragon levels. So yeah. So about inflated damage through passives, Blood Vengeance actually is a damage increase, and it gives you utility through discipline as well. It gives you maximum hatred, so you have like more leeway into. So you kill off an entire pack, you exceed your entire hatred pool, and then because you get a few more, you get to kill off the entire pack, and then you can pick up all the health globe and you're full again. It's very important, like also to understand the mechanics of going out, picking up the health globes, then depleting, then picking up the health globes and depleting. Perfectionist is just for surviving because I'm playing on hardcore. Ambush I think is great solo. The reason I think it's great solo is because you're always hitting full health targets. And with Loaded for Bear, because it does so much damage, here on Torment 1, I pretty much one-shot any white. Because of this, because of this extra damage. And because I one-shot, I get the full effect, I get the full 40% damage on their entire health bar. That's pretty nice. Whereas steady aim, well, I have steady aim now. Oh, I have almost 800k or 800,000, but that doesn't matter because I end up staying inside packs a lot. I end up like being too close to the pack that I'm trying to kill, and I lose out the entire effect. So this kind of inflated DPS is something you often see people do, but it actually means very little, because when you need it the most is where you can't have it. And that's why I don't necessarily like it too much. There are builds that really utilize steady aim well. There are, for instance, like multi-shot builds when you play on difficulty where you can one-shot off screen basically. So you just you tumble ahead and then you multi-shot, poof, and the entire screen just disintegrates. That can be a little bit harder to make work at higher levels if they don't die instantly. So it either requires insane gear, insane damage, or a low difficulty for you to really utilize steady aim. You can also use it in a group where you are 100% certain that they are pulling everything towards them, and then you can use it. But again, it's very circumstantial. Call the Weak, for instance, that's good if you have something that can slow. If you have to like build around, like this can be utilized all the time, but it can also be a very tedious thing to use. Archery, well, this is just a damage boost unless you're using two-hand crossbow, but if you're using two-hand crossbow with this, that's not necessarily a bad thing just because it doesn't reflect on the Untitled DPS again, because you do get the hatred regen, so resources. So different build works different ways, there are different ways of getting different resources, and yeah. So let me showcase quickly how my Demon Hunter functions. You might disagree with Rain of Vengeance and Vengeance, but I just like them because they make you feel real good when everything just rains down and you get so much damage on one target. I might want in a perfect, if I wanted a perfect build, it might be better for me to go preparation with backup plan for soloing. In groups though, it's very nice, especially for the last boss in Rifts, to have this, because it does give you this on-demand, very, very heavy damage dealer with all the hatred and all the extra damage. So, let me just showcase how this works. As you can see, and it ran out because I got hit. See here, we get the cooldowns, boom, boom, boom. Making great work.
Feel my hatred is too low.
Hatred is too low. Pick up the health bubbles, getting all that resource back. You see, this is the main problem. It's really getting hatred.
I'm still waiting. Vengeance!
Like, if this was softcore, it would be faster because I could spec more into damage, but I have to like take care of myself because this is hardcore. And also, I am not Paragon 500, so I don't have all that leeway.
I need more,
but it is going pretty well though. Oh, would like more health bubbles. As you can see here, it would be nice if I had that backup plan, but now I'm going to do this instead. There he is, and we like blow everything. And he dies pretty quickly.
Sweet revenge.
So yeah, this is the build. As you can see, This one down here, Pride's Fall, runs out all the time. It's up sometimes, so it does help me every once in a while, but definitely not the best thing for solo play. I could definitely see better options. But there are so many set bonuses and legendaries you can use, but I hope you understood like the concept here of all the resources versus the tooltip, damage versus... Oh, I actually have the wrong thing on, that's why. That's why I was doing so badly. There we go. You see, ambush would have been way better. As you can see, I was often not doing the amount of damage that I wanted to. Now I can front load way better. Anyways, there we go. That's even better. As you can see, that was a perfect example of why steady aim is bad, because I was in the mix all the time, not getting the benefit at all. Had I had ambush, as you can see, I crit for way more on the front load. Boom, very nice. So, to recap real quick, tooltip DPS is not everything. When people say effective DPS, it's not everything. You have to consider the entire build when doing anything in this game, because it is so purely reflected in numbers. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video today, and I'll see you guys next time.